Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 573. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Soner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Matt, we're playing that new Rockstar game,
Yeah.
Bully, for the PlayStation 2. More on that later this episode, as we dive deep into what it's like to be back in high school. But first, Matt, I want to know, what is your favorite reuse of a video game engine for something completely different?
Bubsy, the siphon filter?
Good answer. I forgot about that entirely. That's a really good answer. Yeah, wasn't even thinking that.
I would say the next one might be Chex Quest, even though it's a straight rip-off, but just an asset flip, but...
Yeah. Well, to keep it in Doom, I'll say Dr. Robotnik's Ring Racers 2, I think is what it is, technically. But it's a Sonic the Hedgehog kart racing game made by fans, for fans, that uses the Doom engine, which you wouldn't think a kart racer in the Doom engine, but yeah, why not? I guess you could also say Call of Duty Quake 3, right?
Yeah.
That's not necessarily completely different. I think the Bubsy to siphon filter, that's really good. I didn't even think about that.
No, I mean, it's the same thing, but they brought in the Fight Night fighting engine for NHL for their fight.
That's
just
good.
for the fight specifically.
That's a good, repurpose. Because, I mean, hey, I'm asking because obviously we're playing Bully, which is reimagining sort of Rockstar's GTA 3 engine in a different manner. But yeah, I think in the same turn, like, it still uses a lot of the same. You're still running as a character. There's still those types of things like you would have. The bike riding in this is straight up San Andreas, so it's all, relative. Let's jump into it. Bully, developed by Rockstar Vancouver, published by, you guessed it, Rockstar. First released on the PlayStation 2, October 17th, 2006. Crazy. Bully, back of the box. First off, first thing you see besides the big bold text that says Bully is that IGN calls it one of the hottest new action games around. Your back of the box paragraph reads, Bully takes the Rockstar tradition of groundbreaking and original gameplay and humorous, tongue-in-cheek storytelling to an entirely new setting, the schoolyard. As a mischievous schoolboy, you'll stand up to bullies, get picked on by teachers, play pranks, win or lose the girl, and ultimately learn to navigate the obstacles of the worst school around, Bullworth Academy. There you have it. So listeners, grab yourself a Beam Cola and get ready for class. Matt, you selected Bully for the list this year. Why Bully?
So you kind of hit the nail on the head about using that San Andreas engine. Just kind of like getting that last ounce out of it almost before moving on to what I'm assuming Rockstar's next big project is GTA 4, I would think.
No, it's,
was there?
Tennis. Table tennis.
Oh, right. How could I forget?
Yeah, how could you forget?
Anyway, before moving on to bigger and better things, as some would say, that's kind of what it feels like with the Super Mario Galaxy 2, one of my Wii Sports killers. It's kind of like, again, it did start as a proposed expansion, but it turned into a full-fledged game, and it really feels like they just probably took every last creative idea for Galaxies, although there's probably tons more that were cut, but what it feels like it could be the last of it, and really squeezing it out and making somehow maybe better product. Said this was more like not a direct correlation. Like Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 is obviously like a very specific sequel to the same game, but this, like, you can feel the DNA from San Andreas, but it's not completely different, but different enough to stand out on its own.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it, as soon as I started playing it, it felt like, in fact, I think one of the first notes I took while playing this was, dang, I want to go play GTA 3 again. Yeah, I don't see where it is, but yeah. And then I have another note here that just says Greaser Respect -5, but we'll get back to that. Correction, table tennis was released 5 months earlier than Bully, so they'd already gotten the table tennis out of their DNA by the time it was released. Yeah. I think I want to set a couple of things up here before we dive in. You played the PS2 version, the original.
Yes.
I was playing the Xbox 360 Scholarship Edition. So, there's some differences between the games in a number of ways that we'll jump into. The Scholarship Edition also came out on Windows and Wii. So, what I played, you may have also played or could still play on those other platforms. With that, Matt, what's the premise of Bully?
Oh, Jimmy plays Jimmy. Oh my god, why can't I remember his last name? I already screwed this up. Jimmy Hopkins. I was about to say Haskins. I'm glad I looked it up. Old Jimmy Hopkins. In the opening cutscene, I don't even think, is it like the main menu cutscene? It's been a while now since I've seen it.
Yep.
Jimmy Hopkins is dropped off by a very animated mom who was like 7 times divorced, 8 times married now, or something like that. Jimmy also like expelled 4 times, 5th school, something like that. Game opens him being dropped off at this brand new boarding school, boarding private school, not quite college. And this place is a piece of shit. And it's about Jimmy's rise to greatness at the school. And it's that meets GTA mission, side mission style open world.
Yeah. One of my first notes in here is Jimmy sucks, but so do his parents. So it's like, it's one of those things where like I didn't like the character right away, but also when you see kind of what he came from, it's like, oh, no wonder he sucks. Bulworth Academy. Did they ever define in this game what year it's meant to take place that you know of? I never saw a year. It feels very much like the 70s or something. But
I don't know. I don't know if it's the 70s. I feel like there's like some of those bike designs are not the 70s.
Yeah, for sure. But like I don't know.
The clicks. Are you talking about, like, specifically the clicks?
Yeah, the campus, the thing. Like, to me, this feels like in the 90s, Martin Scorsese wanted to make a movie about when he went to school. You know what I mean? Like, and it just feels like it was sort of somewhere vaguely in the northeast of the United States, somewhere vaguely roughly between, like, 1939 and 1976. But yeah, I don't know that it actually.
I get that, but it just feels like it's a piece of shit school that can't keep up with the times. I kind of had that deeper thought to it, because again, the staff sucks, the facilities suck, the kids suck.
Also, I mean, this came out in 2006. Did you have a greaser clique in your high school?
No, but I also didn't go to school, private boarding school, where the burnouts have to stay on campus somewhere or nearby.
Yeah. Did you like Jimmy ever?
No,
Okay,
I mean,
good.
kind of. I don't know. Like, at first, I wanted to get away from Gary. I was like, why the fuck are you hanging out with Gary?
Man, I
He
hated
obviously
Gary. I'm
is
so happy he was gone quickly.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, just I think Jimmy fits in though because again, like all these clicks are just like it's the stereotypes on steroids with all of these, and you kind of combine like the GTA humor you get in the writing, like here with those within the clicks. I just feel like Jimmy stands out as his own character amongst the crowd, but like he equally sucks with all of them. Because even poor fucking Algie, poor guy with this fucking zipper unbutton, ends up being a fucking doucher by the end.
I was gonna say, like, you feel bad for Algie initially, but I hated him after a very short while.
Hey, doucher.
Yeah, didn't like him. Another note I had just kind of right at the beginning is I had flashbacks to seeing Suspiria, because, and I confirmed that the composer of Bully sampled, Sean Lee was the composer. He sampled a track from a Goblin track from Suspiria, so it was not completely unfounded. But it was like right away where I was like, where am I? Am I watching Suspiria again? But yeah, that they sampled it, and then the kind of like a lot of the music in the game picks up on and pulls off those motifs, which was interesting. We'll jump into the sound and stuff later on, but that was something that like right away, it's like, I hate Jimmy. I don't really like the premise of this, but also Suspiria. Like I was kind of like, all right, this is something. And then, I think you set up the game pretty well in terms of premise. I guess we'll dive into some of these other questions as we go through, but let's talk specifically about gameplay. Now, when we talk gameplay here at the Free Cheese, we look at obviously the way you control the game, but we're also talking about the story of the game, the narrative, the replayability of the game, just sort of the overall, like, your experience with playing. Specifically, when we review games, we're talking about the three major aspects of gaming, which are touching, seeing, and hearing, right? So we break down all of our reviews in those categories. What is your interaction with the game, with your hands, with the controller? What is it when you're watching it, and what is it when you're hearing it? So to jump into gameplay, I think Bully is a specific one because Bully's broken down into a lot of sections. There's the main story. There's a lot of side missions. There's also classes, because this does take place at a school. So we'll talk about the classes, sort of what was available to us, what we liked, didn't like, sort of what they gave you as rewards. The game also has challenges, and then it wouldn't be a Rockstar game, or an open world game for that matter, if you didn't have a bunch of collectibles. So we'll start with those things before we move into sort of visuals or sound or anything like that. But let's jump into the story a bit. You set up the premise, sort of, Jimmy's got to go to the school for a little extra help. What's his goal throughout the game?
I think it changes, and some of the changes seem just drastic. It comes like off of one line or one cutscene or something like that. But I mean, it's essentially Gary feeds him like the idea of owning the school, and I think just he kind of naturally falls into a story beat that then has him after or an antagonist in the eyes of a certain group, and then that's kind of how the game is broken down. Is like each of these chapters ends up being just like you versus a group, or you leveraging a group against another group, or something like that. That ultimately ends with like you versus like their leader in some type of battle. Usually a fist fight of some sorts, but
sometimes a super brawl in the middle of a junkyard.
Or a potato canning gunfight.
Yeah.
Like,
Classic high school shenanigans. It's funny. Like, I think it's easy here to like kind of make fun of high school shenanigans, but like, right now, if I say to you, do you remember the kid in your high school who had a potato gun? Your answer is yes, because there's always one kid in your high school who just inevitably has a potato gun. His dad's a plumber. He stole a bunch of PVC pipe. He figured out how to put a hairspray can on the end and light a match, and voila, there's a kid with a potato gun. So as like much of these things are tropes and you can sort of like turn your nose up at it, they're based in reality, I think. Although I feel like the itching powder, maybe not. Stink bombs were a real problem in my high school. A lot of suspensions in high school for that. I think some kids got expelled because it got so bad. They were pretty bad. The other stuff, like throwing marbles on the floor, I don't remember anyone ever doing that. But that sure was fun in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty good. The infinite ammo slingshot, pretty good.
Yeah, that was great. I was really worried with some of the slingshot missions that you would end up having to
go to the old ammunition.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. But yeah, so that's Jimmy's goal. I mean, his goal doesn't necessarily change, right? Like,
no, like again, it's
who he factions
I think
with
he
does.
I think he like stumbles into these things because again, the first chapter is very much like, oh, he's being pitched this idea of how to do it, and then spoiler, Gary ends up turning on you because you saw that a mile away because you thought Jimmy was bad. That kid's more of a douche.
Yeah, and he reminded me of like 3 kids I went to high school with.
Oh yeah,
like, you just hate. Like, why does that person exist?
So like, you turn and then like Jimmy's whole thing is like, oh, he wants to get back at Gary almost, but again, like what he does to get back, like what starts as one thing leads to another, and that's kind of like how the chapter begins to unfold and unravel, and so you kind of sew up the beats with that said click in some way, and then you move on to the next thing. And again, it's very much like chapter begins like how to get back at Gary, and then something happens, and then you're thrown into another kind of acquaintance, or the click is after you for some reason. Like it all again, the it's always getting back at Gary, but like there's like distractions along the way because of it. And it comes back around. But yeah, it just like the main beat is just like take down, click, take down, click, take down, click. Oh, they're all taken down. Oh, there's this other thing that we don't know about. To our east.
Yeah. And it kind of mirrored a Grand Theft Auto in that fashion. Like,
a bit.
You're like, okay, I'm on this island in Manhattan, quote unquote, and now I've got to take over this gang and work with that, and I'm going to move through it. Like, that, it kind of, mirrored that. And in the same sense that, like, those GTA games, I could and did play one of those a year as they were coming out, and they were not recycling the same stuff, but, the general beats of those things are kind of the same. This, looking at that, had I played this right when it came out, I feel like it would have been a nice, like, it's another, and I still feel that way. It's a nice, like, different setting for that. If you're not necessarily, like, wanting to run down people with a car and shoot them a bunch, why not try running them
down with a bicycle and shooting them with a slingshot?
Yeah. Practicing your wrestling moves on them. What stood out to you moment-wise, mission-wise in the game? Was there something in particular that you
Halloween mission. Halloween mission. I would say one of the better, just the dress up and the pulling the dumbest fucking pranks on kids.
Yeah, that was good.
And that led to the one just like secret, well, not secret, but like optional mission if you screw it up. Thankfully it's early on. If you do screw that up, it's not terribly long, but that was fun. I would say, well, I might save that for the sides. saving Algae from the greasers. Oh no, sorry, not that one. The Funhouse mission with the nerds, saving them
great.
from the Funhouse. I like that mission a lot. And anything with Edna, I loved the lunch lady.
Lunch lady, yeah. They were
anything
good. Yeah.
There was like the one fetch quest early on, but like I liked when you were staking out the date from the tree, and not necessarily that the gameplay was good, but just listening to Edna and her slowly drug this this other professor.
Yeah,
it's like so, you know, GTA writing, Rockstar writing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. There's a lot of moments in this game when I was playing it where I felt my eyes rolling, where I was like, "Come on!" Like, but for as many of those where I was like, "All right, this is low hanging fruit," or this is like. Maybe I'm just also like numb to Rockstar's brand of satire because they've just kind of had a similar thing forever. But for as many of those where I was like, all right, I know what you're doing. There were also like these, I think, deeper and more fleshed out characters in the game, like Edna for sure. And even though some of the like, I don't know, some of the greasers are like on surface, like very stereotypical, stupid characters, but some of them have like some layer and nuance to them, and there's different, you know, different things about them that go outside of just their facade, which I think for a game about high school is, I think, an important message to tell. It's so easy to get caught up in trends and clicks and things like that when you're at that age, that showing that, hey, people are more than just what they wear and what they look like, I think is a nice message to send home. Yeah, I'm dipping my toes or walking gently on the when do I start talking about some of the technical things that I ran into with the 360 version. But the Edna mission was one, once you're up there, it's good. I had some trouble getting up there, which we'll do a deep dive on my technical fun later on.
Man,
dude,
that edition sounds fucked.
It ain't great.
Damn, that sucks. Because I think without some of those frustrations, I think you would have had a little bit better time on some of this stuff. But that's all right.
Yeah. I do think my review was still higher than I expected it to be. I'll put it that way. But yeah, some definite tricky stuff. I don't know. Anything else story-wise? We'll kind of do like a story wrap-up by the end here, but anything else like to set up our story conversation or anything you want to talk about? Or you want to move into some side mission stuff?
You start moving into some of the side stuff. Because, I mean, you can't... I think I explained it ad nauseum now. It's just like, Jimmy versus Click. New chapter. Jimmy versus
boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's kind of it. There's highs and lows of that. I think we kind of pointed out a couple of the missions we liked, didn't like, etc. Side missions. There's actually quite a bit of variety to them. I think when you think of side missions in an open world game, Fetch Quest is an obvious one, and of course they're here, but there's races in this. There are things where it's like, I don't know, like I liked the one, and now I don't remember if this is a story mission or not. No, this was a story mission. The breaking of the pots at the house. We had to just basically like go destroy a bunch of potted plants, and then the cops came.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun though. Like a different type of thing, and like I do like the way that there's elements that you get kind of from just the core gameplay that you get to apply in different scenarios. Like obviously you learn how to fight so you can beat up kids or defend yourself against people trying to beat you up, but you can also use that to like smash stuff, or you can use your slingshot to shoot out windows and things like that when necessary. Yeah, I guess side missions specifically are the blue X's that appear. Like characters run up to Jimmy and say, hey, can you do this for me? And this could be a number of things. I don't know. Do you have any that stood out to you?
So, I think it's chapter 3 or 4. You're like walking in I guess at some point we'll talk about the clock system and how you have to sleep or whatever.
You want to break that down now?
Yeah, all right. So, this is Shenmue. Congratulations. Yeah, you're kind of on a clock every day. You don't have to, but it brings into, like, it's not a star rate in this game. What's the actual bar? What's the trademark on this one? I forget. But like you can get in trouble for not appearing the thing. So like, you wake up at 8, but at 9:30, or sorry, at 9 the bell rings and you have to be in class by 9:30. If not, you're technically late for class, and that can cause trouble. And one of the professors or security that's monitoring the grounds can pull you in, or police if you're out in town.
Yeah.
For skipping class or whatever. Yeah, so like that's like for like a 2.5 hour period. Then there's another class, I think at 1 or 12:30 is the bell. Then at 1,
1 to 1:30 is the
yeah. Oh yeah. So same thing. So you get 2 classes a day, and then you kind of get the evening. And then curfew is 8 or 9.
I thought 10.
Or sorry, you can start sleeping, I think, at 8.
Yes.
And then, or like the evening hours kick in, because some of these missions are on a timer, like Shenmue. So like you only have access during like the school, during the quote day, or in the evening. And I think 8 o'clock is when it changes to like evening in quotes. 10 is curfew, and 2 o'clock, Jimmy will just pass out straight up on the spot if you don't get on the bed.
Mm-hmm. He sure will.
Oh no, I avoided the whole time. There was like one close call, but other than that, I got it all figured out. So yeah, that's pretty much a day, and it's rinse and repeat. It doesn't do the Monday, it doesn't keep track of the week, so like it's not like Saturday and Sunday come.
That sucks. I really wish we had a Saturday and Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you don't get there's no Saturday or Sunday like have off from classes. It's the same ritual every day. The only way you can get out of classes is if you complete classes, and we'll get into that later as like another like part of gameplay. So yeah, I mean that's the time system. It's Shenmue, not as stingy and on crack, but
yeah.
It's Shenmue like, and the clock's always in the top left hand corner. You don't have to hit a button to bring up your wrist to see what time the fuck it is.
Some would say that's a step down, but
so yeah. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I was going back to the dorm for the night to go to bed, and a dirtbag kid stops me and he's like, "Oh, here are these eggs. Go egg the girls' dorm." I was like, "All right, well, fuck it. Let's go egg the girls' dorm." So you go and you egg it, and then like as soon as you're done and you get like the check mark mission complete, and you start walking away, a girl approaches you. And she's like, "Hey, some dirtbag from the boys' dorm just egged our dorm. Go egg the guys' dorm for us." And then you're going right back and egging the guys' dorm.
Yeah.
Just one of those in the moment, like, oh, this is something innocent. And it's like, oh, that's pretty funny how like the rebuttal is waiting for you.
Yeah, that was nice. I like. There were a few like that. That was definitely the one that was the strongest example of like, Jimmy has no sides.
Yeah.
Jimmy will do whatever he needs to do. This one was not necessarily like a straight up side mission, but it was sort of a side activity. I guess this kind of works more as a collectible per se, but as you get to a certain point in the photography class, you get a camera that Jimmy can just carry, and you can go around and take pictures of students, and if you take a picture of a student you haven't taken a picture of before, and they're a key student or whatever, you add their portrait to the yearbook. Or was that just a scholarship edition thing, or was that...
Might have been just a scholarship edition, because I don't remember a yearbook. I know there was like a photo album thing, but I don't remember there being a yearbook, because I think the photo album would have saved to your memory card.
On the 360, it saves to your... hard drive.
So if you probably can't take 200 photos
on
the PlayStation 2.
The yearbook, all it basically did was like, it's in the start menu, there's a yearbook that appears in the bottom, and then Like,
It might have been in there. I never glanced at the photo stuff because I didn't do a lot of it.
Yeah, this one didn't save the pictures you took of the students, but like once it registered that you took their picture and it came up with a green frame around them that was a good picture, it'll just say like portrait of Algae unlocked, or Algae's yearbook photo unlocked. And when you open the yearbook, instead of it just being a generic gray silhouette, you'll actually see like Algae's yearbook photo. But yeah, that I thought was a fun one, and something that like I kind of found myself doing as I was like killing time in between classes waiting for the next thing to start. I would just take pictures of the kids and see if it unlocked a new portrait, which was nice. But side missions, how do you feel they compared to other Rockstar games?
So the DNA for Red Dead Redemption's 2 system is like right here. And it's crazy to think about that, because that was like one of the landmark kind of like features, was just how everyone's so interactive. You say hi to just target anyone, just say hi to everyone. Like the side mission stuff was there, but again, like if someone was giving you shit, you could do like the thing of like, whoa, like you could kind of tell them to fuck off. You can kind of tell them like, hey, whatever. Like, for girls, you can give them gifts so that way you can kiss them to get a health boost. Like that whole system is there. And it's kind of crazy to see where it went. And I don't remember GTA 4 having this. I mean, I know your fucking cousin calls you every goddamn five.
Brucey
go bowling.
Yeah. You had sort of, like, it was more of a social system than I think that's the direction they went there versus here. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, this was definitely unique. Let's talk. Well, I guess let's do challenges. No. We'll do classes. Let's do classes. So there are in the PS2 version 6 classes you can take. And then Scholarship Edition adds 4 additionals. So there's English, Chemistry, Gym, Shop, Art, and Photography. And then Scholarship Edition adds Geography, Biology, Music, and Math. Wow, I can't believe you didn't have all of those. That's crazy. So in English, you're playing Boggle here. You're given a series of letters, and you need to make as many words out of them as possible within a time limit. As long as you hit a certain threshold, you will pass the class. All classes have 5 stages to them. So English 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then as you go through them, you'll unlock different things depending on which class you've completed. That was English. What was Chemistry? Chemistry was more of like a...
It was like a rhythm game. Or, yeah, quick time.
Or no. I think you're right. No. Yeah,
it was
Shop.
Yeah, it was more like yes, yeah, depending on how you but you just see the icons of your controller come through, and it's like X, circle, triangle, and stage 1 had like just X and circle, and stage 2 incorporates some more speed, and by the end of it, you're mixing in like all the top buttons, like your RB or R1, R2, L1, L2 with the face buttons. It picked up speed. I never struggled with this one, shockingly.
With Chemistry?
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was going to get harder, but I never did, thank God.
No, that one was fine.
English I struggle with. Your boy can't fucking play Boggle. I found out.
English was tough in some of those, and there's some that like, I don't know, there's some words I feel like I was like easily getting to. There's others that were like, this is tough. I struggled with Gym. Because you just played dodgeball in Gym, and I was not good. The key I found was, as soon as you get the ball, just throw it. As soon as you get it, just beam them, and then you catch the AI off guard. But I failed. I don't think I actually, like, by the end of the game, completed Gym. Most of the other classes I'd completed, but Gym I did not.
I don't remember. I was close. I did beat gym. I got through gym.
What else did we have? We had shop, which was more quick time events. The cool thing with shop is I guess let's run down them. Do you remember what you unlocked for each of them?
That some varying degree. I know shop was like bicycle stuff.
Yeah, shop you like unlock new upgrades to a bike. In
chemistry, upgraded your set in your dorms. That way you can replenish like your stink bombs, stuff of that nature.
English let you do like different
talk your way out.
Yeah.
Yes, it let you. I think it was more specifically disciplinary, like talking your way out of stuff.
Yeah, it was like you can apologize to the prefects for minor offenses. I think by the end of it, you could apologize to cops for minor offenses and get out of things. If you complete English 5, that was it. You also conversely got better taunts. So if you're fighting somebody after you've completed English 4, you've got better taunts for that.
Photography was stuff for. Well, I guess we didn't talk about photography class. I know photography unlocked stuff for your camera.
Yeah.
But photography itself, it was pretty much just your teacher sending you out on a mission on certain things to take pictures of, and it was a time-based thing. It was pretty easy. Yeah,
they were easy. You unlocked for that one, so you did have the yearbook. If you took the photography 2, you had to take a photo of 3 students, and you unlocked the yearbook, which you could then fill out. But you would unlock a bigger photo album, a digital camera that also let you take color photos. They were cool. Like, go out, take pictures of 4 dogs out in the whatever. So that was pretty good. Did we hit all of them? Did we do art? We didn't talk about art.
No. Art, so I don't even know how to begin to explain art, to be honest with you.
Okay. Art, if you've ever played weird games on the PC-98, you already know what this is. And for the rest of you, you basically... It's this weird... I wish I knew...
You have to, like, you start off, it's kind of, I don't know, it's like... if you had like an etch and sketch, but you were on straight diagonal or straight 90-degree turns only.
Yes.
And you kind of like there's a hidden picture, and you start around the edge, and you have to like make squares to uncover the picture. Sounds easy, but there's shit out to get you. Like there's scissors riding on these lines. If the scissors hit your pencil or the tracing tool you're trying to use, you die. If you're in the middle of making a line, you haven't completed your like rectangle or section or square, and an eraser hits you, you die. And you get 3 lives to uncover. I think it's like 70% of the picture before it finally gives you the win.
Yep.
But there's other stuff. There's types of scissors, erasers. There's pro things to slow down time, speed up your pencil. It's all kinds of stuff, and they're all like things are like bouncing around the screen, or like scissors are riding the lines, erasers are bouncing around the screen like a DVD logo screensaver.
Yeah.
Based on where you got them trapped and stuff. So like it gets challenging, and that stuff. I think there's like more enemies, and some of that stuff gets faster as you increase the stage.
It is I found the name of the game it clones. It's called Kix, Qix. If you're a big Kix fan out there, then you already know what this is. But as you complete art class, you get better kissing rewards.
Yes. Yes.
So you get basically every time you complete an art class, you get 25% extra health on a kiss each time, all the way up to like double your health. You can basically double your health bar by getting.
Is the last one kissing without a gift?
The last one is without a gift, and you get the art set trophy for completing it. So yeah, that's chemistry, English, art, gym, shop, and photography. Like Matt said, those happen at 9 and 1 each day. The thing I didn't love about it is like I I don't know. I get you have until 9:30 to get there, but I don't know. If my school brain kicked in and I wanted to be there at 9:00, so I'd go into school at 9:00, and then that day would be shop. I didn't have to run back out of the school and down and around to get to it.
Yeah, also, you didn't get the bell icon to tell you where you were going until like 9:10.
That's
by the time it loaded.
I wish you had like, okay, today's this day of the week. This is your class.
Yeah, or at least know the order of something.
Or to your point, at 9:00, have the bell on the map and let me just go right to it. But yeah, it was like 10 after before you knew which class to go to. I do want to break down some of the scholarship edition exclusives because they were pretty cool and they added some neat rewards. So you had biology where you had to dissect different animals. All with like the biology teacher has like a, little shop of horrors plant next to him. He's got a very ghoulish kind of thing going on with his whole, Dr.
Oh,
Creepy.
you talked to him in a main mission when you tried to kill the other competing. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. He seemed random, but okay.
Yeah. So they flesh him out in terms of giving him a little bit more to say, and he's you get to do his biology class and dissect things. For doing this, you get different rewards. So you dissect a frog, you get a muscle shirt. You dissect a rat, you get hazmat headgear. You dissect a fish, you get a bass fishing hat. You dissect a pigeon, and you get an alien costume. And then a fetal pig gets you a human skeleton trophy that just shows up into your bedroom and a pig head mask. It was one of those things where like you're kind of playing Operation, you know what I mean? Like you're like drawing with your joystick, a scalpel line and all that stuff. Music is, I'm really bummed you especially didn't get music because it had one of those jokes. It's like a joke that I know you would have loved. Like it was just like, one of the things, like just knowing your sensibility with different games, like it had me cracking up, and I felt like this would have been the thing where you would have been like, I don't know, you're basically, it's not too dissimilar to the chemistry mini game where you're just sort of hitting different triggers. Like I think like each level it's like cowbell, maracas, timpani, snare drum, and xylophone, and each of them are like, you're just hitting R2, L2 to whatever. Mm-hmm. But it deliberately, or not, maybe not because it's the 360 version, but it deliberately seems like it deliberately makes you play off beat, but you're technically doing it, like I'm hitting the things as they pass through the box, and I'm getting perfect scores, but Jimmy's like really stiff and offbeat, and the music teacher's like, good job, and all the music in the background sounds like trash, but yeah, it's just a funny, stupid thing. I had a
similar, I don't know if you did, but I had a similar issue in Shop where it wasn't registering some of my joystick turns. I found, maybe it's something wrong with my controller, but like, if I started up and started rotating, it wouldn't take it. I would fail it. If I started down and went in whatever direction, it would take it.
Oh,
I failed that class like 6 times in a row before I kind of discovered like that little thing. I don't, like I said, I don't know if it's something specific in my controller or not.
I definitely had some terrible like moments with those inputs for shop class specifically where like it just like but I don't know if that was me messing up a QuickTime event or what. But yeah, anyway, it was stupid, sorry. But I thought that was fine. You get just kind of t-shirts for that, different outfits to wear. There's math, which was like insane. It was just like a lot of things where it's like, okay, 3 + 4 = what? And then you have to find 7 on the right side, move your joystick over it and select 7, that kind of stuff. But it would also be like, which is the smallest? And it's like a bird, a watermelon, and an airplane. And you have to quickly choose which of those items is smaller. You get hats, shirts, things like that. The shirts are stupid. It's like a thing that says shut your, and then it's a pi symbol, and then hole. So it, shut your it's that kind of stuff. It's another one that's kind of like English, where you're just kind of like rapidly making your selections. But geography, my dude, was my favorite class in the entire game. They throw a random map at you with a bunch of X's on countries or states, depending on which thing you're in. And then you get a series of flags at the bottom, and you need to pick the flag and drop it on the country on the map that it corresponds to. Something about it was just fun and pleasing, and I was surprised at how well I knew, like, Europe.
So I'm looking at these maps. There is no way in hell I'm getting... Is there, like, a way to study this, or you just have to know it?
Nah, dude, you just gotta go.
There's no way I'm getting Middle East and North Africa on the first try. Call me ignorant.
You can pause the game and use the internet. That works too. Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. But the cool thing about completing geography is that level 1, you just get an Eiffel Tower hat. But geography 2, all of the rubber band locations are marked on your map. Geography 3, all of the magic card locations are marked on your map. Level 4, the transistors that you get that teach you you trade them in for your combat upgrades are marked. And then the 5th is all of the gnomes are marked. Were the gnomes part of PS2?
I saw gnomes. I never broke them, though.
Okay, yeah. So they pop up as well, which was cool.
That would have been useful, because I found, I think, 5 of the 6 transistors by myself, but I was missing the last one, so I never got the last upgrade from Homeless Dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought they were cool. I don't know. Do you feel like classes added to the gameplay experience well?
I think so, yeah. Because I like doing them. It feels like Jimmy would have skipped class all the time, but I liked going to class because the mini games were fun. Once you kind of found out like the 6 were the 6, it kind of got a little old. But the advantage of clearing them is if that class is next on the time sheet. So you do all 5 photographies, and photography class is now this turn in the day. You don't have to go to class anymore. Now you have all this free time to do missions or go out exploring and not to worry about getting caught or busted or, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. Did you ever get detention?
No.
Dude. So I got detention once, and I don't know if there's more to it. Huh. I think I accidentally ran over a girl with my bike, and there was a prefect? What's the name? What's the
prefect?
A prefect, right there, and kicked me off the bike. It was a bad. I blame the camera and shoddy controls on that one.
Yeah.
Dude, they gave me there's a whole cutscene where it sends me to the principal's office, and then it puts me in detention, and all they had I'm sure there's other things, so maybe that's something that I have to look at after the fact, but it made me just mow a plot of grass, and I had to get it 90% done before 2 minutes or something. It was awesome.
That's pretty good. Yeah, no, I'd not.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I got busted, in the orange or yellow, that never became a thing. But I think that was the one time where I was super red and didn't get away or to a dorm or something. And yeah, I got sent to the principal's office and then detention. Which was funny.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because all that happened after you are one of the last missions in the game where you are expelled.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I going to the principal's office? And why am I getting detention?
Yeah, the game logic didn't add up that.
Also, as you were running by all the prefects, the dress code thing kept going off because you were defaulted to your street clothes. So I was like, what the fuck? Some
Dude,
weird
I had that
logic
the entire game. I sent you some screenshots of what I was wearing the whole game, but the second I got that skull costume, I was wearing that for most of the game. And there was one point where you needed to put on a sweater to go to one of the prep missions. So I had that sweater, but I kept the skeleton pants on. And then I didn't realize for longer than I should have that as I'm walking around class, all the kids are laughing at me. And I'm like, why is everyone just laughing all the time? Oh, it's because I'm wearing pants that they think are funny.
I had the same thing with the mental institution costume that you have to use for a disguise.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot to take that one off. There's a couple times where like your costume resets to the default, so I would leave it there. But if I remembered, I would go and change into something stupid. I quite liked the alien costume a lot. That was a fun, stupid one. Outside of classes, there's challenges, which are sort of kind of like spin-offs of the main mission types. It's like races or things like that you do that are available for different clicks.
Boxing was the one I liked the most.
Yeah, boxing's the only one I went. Boxing and racing, I went back to as much as I could.
I did a few races, but it was like there's like 5 different races, and who knows how many stages per race. So I kind of did like one in each area, and
yeah,
it's like, I get it.
Did you do any of the video games?
I sure did.
Man, I really liked the one arcade racing game. I forget what it was now. Future Street Race.
Oh yeah, that weird like F-Zero thing.
There were 2 of them. There's like 2 different years attached to them. One was like F-Zero, and then another one was like...
Oh, I may not play the other one then.
There's one in the lighthouse, and then there's one in the dorm.
I don't know if I've ever played the one in the dorm, to be completely honest with you. I definitely played the one in the lighthouse. That was the F-Zero one.
Yeah, there's that one. The one in the dorm's more like top-down Micro Machines style.
Okay. That banana one with the monkeys, I played it once, didn't know what the fuck happened, and then I was like, I'm done. Big fan of the sumo one, though. The one you're forced to do to get the nerd hideout. Yes. Big fan of that one, where you're just eating fish and sushi and cake, and you're trying to avoid the spoiled stuff. It takes forever to like get to the goal, but it was fun.
Yeah, I'm like impressed with those things in this game. A lot of the stuff that like pads out the world of Bullworth was worth it to me. Even the collectibles, like I don't always go crazy for collectibles, but it's neat that they're there. I do really like that the scholarship edition gives you those markers on the map that makes it so much easier to like chase things down or go a little bit out of your way to just grab something really quickly. Why don't we do a sweep through? We'll do visuals and sound as we get through before we rank this thing. How do you feel the game looks today? I know it's an almost 20-year-old PS2 game, but
it looks fine enough. I think I'd be fine with the visuals. At least I didn't have bugs and crashes and stuff like that. I wasn't concerned about saving every second, but I had bad slowdown in some of the open world areas. Like once you hit that main kind of like T or that cross section where the boy and girl's door meets like the main entrance and the main like academic building. Oh man, it slowed down was so bad every single time. And I feel like if I went back, I'm playing on some PlayStation 5 through like the PlayStation 2 port.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I would went back and play Grand Theft Auto 3 on a PlayStation 2, I feel like I had the same thing. So I think it's just a product of the time. But I think it looks all right. I did like there was a lot of like unique. We didn't have a lot of was it Stan Lee's in the background like we get in some games today?
Yeah.
There was a lot of unique characters, and I really liked that you saw some of those main characters walking around the campus or whatever.
Yeah, because like when I really got into like taking pictures for the yearbook and seeing if I could fill that whole thing out, there was one kid walking, and I was like, oh, he looks like Algie, and I took his picture, and it was like Algie's photo unlocked. I'm like, oh, it is him. And then I started looking, and it's like, oh, there's that one. And you do start to recognize certain kids that you go to school with the same way you would in real life, and you get to know them and stuff.
I mean, even when you get out to Greaser Nation, what's the chick? Jody was the one that kissed all the guys in the world.
Yeah,
like you see her out and about whenever you're going through that neighborhood. So
yeah. I think it still looks fine enough. The things for me that were a little weird are like a product of the time where it's like you meet somebody and they're like, thanks a lot, kid. Here's this. And they like just hold their arm out with nothing in it and hand it to you. And then you're like, thanks. And then but that's minor. It's expected. I think it still looks fine enough today. Set design though, or design wise, like I really liked it. Like I think the school's really well fleshed out. And I really liked the carnival. That whole area, like just being there, you can kind of go to it. Was there anything about the town or the area, the locale that stood out to you that you liked, didn't like?
I like that dumb cliche about the rich people living up on the hill. Like that's such a, it's on the nose, but makes sense here in this world. You don't, by the time you get to the end of the game, you're not in that part of town a lot, but the towny part is so run down and just trailer trash. Running by the people and them just attacking you is just so random. Because it's just adults. They're really straight up just run down adults. So I like that. But no, like you said, I think the carnival was a unique location. And the school, I didn't get quite there, and I think that's just because of the length of this game. And that's not a bad thing, but I was starting to know the shortcuts, the streets, without referencing anything, and it felt like old school GTA 3 where I could, I can't do it anymore, but back in the day, goddamn, did I know all the back alleys, all the main streets, all the side streets, know where the stars were without the ramps, looking at all. Yes, everything. It was getting there because I knew where the cuts were, where you can vault over a fence, all the optimum routes, using the field, the jock area to get around to certain areas. That was starting to come back to me, but again, I didn't get full, but that's just because you beat the game, and this isn't a 50-hour game or 30-hour game like GTA or the GTAs are.
Yeah. No, it fit. I do think it's a little bit. I wish it more. I don't know. I guess it roots itself in a nondescript time period for a reason. But I guess my hang-up is just the greasers. It's just a weird.
Fuck cares.
It's just a weird. Because I don't know. I feel like I like that it's timeless, but
I like the But I really like the idea of all right, so this game came out 2005 is what you just said, 2006. I like this idea that this game takes place in 2006, but there's a fucking greaser town just stuck in time for forever.
That's good too. You're right. I need to lighten up. Let's talk about sound. The game is fully voice acted. A lot of background voice acting. What do you think of the voice acting in the game?
I liked it. I think it was properly executed. I'm sure there was a couple things that I can't think of that I was like, oh, that's weird. But for the most part, everything was good. From what I remember, at least. Yeah,
I agree. How about sound? Music, sound effects, everything?
I wish the music didn't fucking change every time you got on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Because it kept going back to the same track. I was getting tired of hearing that track because I wanted to be on a bike to get as fast as I could to the next thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't mind the music. I liked it.
You didn't skateboard everywhere?
Dude, alright, so I've just bitched and complained about the poor bike controls and camera. Are you kidding me? That skateboard was 80 times worse.
It's pretty bad. It was fun around campus to quickly if I didn't feel like going all the way to the garage.
I just fucking ran around campus. I was so fucking tired of that skateboard.
I doing 360s off of stairs.
I did the GTA 3 thing, or any of the GTAs, where you hijack a shitty car to get to the good car that's right down the street. That was me in this game. I would skateboard to the bike, hit the person off the bike, and then fucking take it.
I don't think I ever took a bike from somebody in this game. I didn't even realize you could. Obviously you can, but I didn't. Yeah. Before we get ready and kind of closing thoughts and then rank this thing, let's take a few minutes to talk about the 360 versions. Bizarre glitches.
Oh God.
So yeah, I had a decent amount of technical glitches whilst playing this game. The final glitch made me completely, I was like, all right, I'm out, because I lost like an in-game days worth of progress after failing a mission 2 times in a row because of how stupid the game is. So the first glitch I had that was like, this is weird. It's the mission where you need to, it's winter time and you're up on a perch and you have to wait for like 5 people to go by and hit them with snowballs. Remember this one? I think it's for Santa, quote unquote Santa.
I don't remember this.
I don't know, but you're up on like a thing. You basically, like, to start the mission, you have to go and talk to somebody, you have to interact with a ladder and climb up it, and then wait for people to walk by and throw snowballs at them. I'm up there, I hit one guy, another guy comes by on a bike, I hit him, and as the people come in and out of view, it's pretty easy, but you're in a fixed location as Jimmy. You can't move. All you're doing is just automatically aiming down sights and throwing. So the third target comes into frame, and he's got a little yellow X over him, and I'm like, all right, let me get ready and hit him. And a random flare pops up, like a bomb went off, or a firecracker went off to the right of me. It throws Jimmy off of the perch that I'm on up top, and he just starts sliding to the left. Because I think the game thinks that Jimmy's meant to be in a fixed position up there. And I can't do anything. At this point, I'm hitting our, right trigger to throw snowballs, but that's not working. I can't move because the game is locked where Jimmy's not supposed to be movable. And it just moves Jimmy all the way up until I hit a wall, come to a complete standstill, and then eventually I fail the mission and it restarts and lets me do it again. But not without, like, all of that time passing and, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to go through all that stuff again. So that was kind of, like, weird, but I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, all right, this is a glitch. The second one that was like, what is happening? It's the Edna, go and watch her on the date and climb up the tree with the slingshot. So when you start that mission, you start it by approaching the tree. There's a mission marker right next to it. You press Y and you start that mission. And then that Shenmue clock starts ticking down. You've got to get up the tree, shimmy across the branch, pull yourself up on it, and get ready with your slingshot within, about a minute. It's not very long. I shimmy up the tree. I shimmy across the branch. I press Y because I'm like, well, that's how you climb, right? Nothing happens. I press Y, nothing. I failed that mission start 5 or 6 times in a row. Could not do it at all. I needed to wait until the next day to try it again because I'd tried too many times and it was now too late in the day to start that mission. So I come back the next day, I climb up. I couldn't get up that branch again. So while hanging from the branch, I hit B to drop down, hit Y to climb it again, and then shimmied over and hit Y, and that time it worked and it pulled Jimmy up and I'm able to do the mission. It was baffling. And I'm like, this is really weird. Is this a glitch? Is this something? Like, I'm still not fully there yet. The worst offender, though. The chemistry teacher. Okay, so I'm in the middle of chapter 5. I'm like nearing the end of the game. I unlock an achievement for tripping 25 kids with marbles. And I'm like, okay, let me and I hit the button to, like, I just saw the name of the achievement, but I was like, oh, what did I do? And I open it up and I see, and I'm like, oh, wait, I finished chapter 4. I didn't get my chapter 4 achievement. I go back and look. I also didn't get my chapter 3 achievement. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Why not? And when I, like, do a quick little Bing search, it turns out that there are some optional story missions that are optional for story progression, not optional for the achievement. So because I had missed those, I did not get my chapter completion achievements. And I'm like, am I not in chapter 5? But I paused the game and, like, dead center in the top, it's like chapter 5. I'm like, okay, I'm there, but all right. One of the optional things is a mission called Discrete Delivery, which I don't know. I think this might be exclusive to the 360 version, or the Scholarship Edition, I should say.
It is, and so was the one with the snowballs. I looked it up.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Also, in the trivia in that section on a certain website I won't name, it specified the glitch that you have.
Very good to know. Because I found that the one I'm about to describe for discrete delivery was also not, I'm not alone in this one.
This just has straight up glitch subtitle or subheading.
Is okay. Insane that this happened. So I won't bore everybody with the details of days and how I had to try this one multiple times and all of that, blah, blah, blah. What I will tell you is the mission objective is the chemistry teacher wants to sell drugs to people around the town, and he wants Jimmy to deliver those drugs. He doesn't say that, but that's what it is. So the mission involves you going into the school, leaving the school, going to the far part of town, picking up the package from a student who works with the chemistry teacher, and then working your way all the way around the northwest side of the map back down into the school, which if you're familiar with the game, it's a pretty long journey to go on as Jimmy. Remember, I had to do this multiple times because of failures that I'm about to describe. Essentially, you can't do this mission until later in the day after school has ended because it's discreet. But you also start to butt up against the point in which you are past curfew when you start this. By the time you start this mission, make your way across town, do all this, the clock's a ticking. So what happens is you deliver the package to these people, and two of the people you deliver to are considered authority figures in the game. And because they're authority figures and you're out past curfew, as soon as you give them the package to complete the objective or one of the sub-objectives of this quest, they put you in a headlock because you're breaking curfew. And immediately the game and your history of playing the game at this point is telling you to press Y to break free, which causes Jimmy to kick one of these people in the shins. You get a penalty for attacking a customer because you're not supposed to attack the customers in this discrete delivery, and you fail the mission. No questions, no anythings. You're done. I had kind of resigned to whatever. I'm just not going to get those achievements for completing those trophies or completing those things because I'm not going to do this mission again after failing it twice because of this weird glitch. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, let me go back to school. I'd already done other story missions. These were side missions I'd tried multiple times and failed. Let me go back to school. Okay, first class of the day I don't need to go to. I already finished it. Let me do a story mission. All right, because remember, I'm typically only saving before bed, the night before. I do all this. I go to school, whatever, doing the story mission. I've failed this other thing so many times. I go into music class, my second class of the day at 1 o'clock. As soon as the teacher's starting welcome class, as soon as the audio kicks in, the whole game freezes and the audio's skipping. It just nothing. And I was like, all right, I've seen what I'm gonna see. I don't think it's gonna work. But yeah, the weird glitches. It's good to know that they're all logged and I'm not alone in it.
Did you see the Wikipedia entry for Bully? You glanced at the bottom of this?
Wikipedia? No.
Wikipedia, yeah. So there's a whole paragraph for the review of the remaster, which is the Scholarship Edition. The Xbox 360 version of Bully Scholarship Edition was found to be unstable of some players' consoles, resulting in glitches, crashes, and performance issues. On the 20th of March, a patch was released, but there were reports claiming that the problems continued or worsened. Then he goes on to talk about Windows 10, but yeah, this version seems fucked from what I've been reading briefly.
If I had known that before, I would have played the PS2 version.
Had I known that as well, I probably would have directed you to the PS2 version.
Yep.
You would have saw my insane slowdown, so that would have been fun.
Yeah, but granted, I still do like the game generally, right?
Yeah, it's just that's unfortunate. That's not the game's fault. That's poor
porting. But I also really I'm glad that I played the Scholarship Edition for the things that it added to it. The extra class types. There's extra side missions that I think were kind of interesting or weird or whatever. I don't know. There's stuff about it that I do like having or having it played. It's just unfortunate in that regard.
The Wii might be the way to play this.
I know, because the Music Edition. Class, you can do motion controls.
Yeah. And a Scholarship Edition, and it's stable. I can't speak for Oh, there you go. Windows 10 also had problems, but fans here to save the day.
As always.
Daikatana 1.3 style.
Exactly. Again, though, negative experiences aside, I did generally have a good time with the game. I'm surprised at how short it is. I was not doing a ton of side stuff. I was doing some here and there, but like I got to where I got in just over 10 hours, which you and I talked the other day, and you had a little bit more on the clock than I did. And I don't know if just the 360 version sped up some things or what, but you can, even if you're like doing all the side stuff, I feel like this is the map's much smaller than an average GTA. So if you're doing 100%, like you can probably do that in this game.
I wonder if you did get some speed, because the Series X upped the frame rate to 60.
I think, yeah.
I wonder if that fucked with their clock.
I could have done that, yeah.
No, that busted it was based on what you said.
Yeah.
I don't remember what my final hour count was. I have to look at the little PS5 thing. But I was probably around 15.
Yeah. 15 sounds right for like getting through the story, doing some side stuff.
I didn't spend a lot on some stuff. But no, that was around there.
What did you think overall? What's your final impression on Bully?
I like it. I don't think it's perfect, but I mean, I like it a lot, and I think it's unique off of GTA. I don't know, like, I know everyone's like, oh, new Bully, but like, I don't know what they would do to kind of top this. I kind of like it for the package it is.
Yeah, I agree. If they did a remastered version that was a little more polished,
on the Wii,
had all the stuff on the
worked.
Wii, yeah. Maybe, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think if you make Bully 2 today, the environment has to be much different, because I feel like even when this came out, again, like some of these tropes are a little weird and a little outdated, but I also just think that today you could not make a video game about high school that did not involve like the drama of having everything recorded all the time. You know what I mean? Like everything that comes with being a kid today, I don't think you can make that game without that. And I don't know that that's Rockstar's.
Yeah, I'm also curious, like, I know people... I remember the slight controversy with this coming out with like the name, but like you really weren't the bully. It was kind of everyone else, but Jimmy is a piece of shit, so I can kind of see it. But everyone just saw the name of the game and I think freaked out. I don't know in today's world and the world temperature how it would play to do another one of these.
I don't know.
I say that though, and GTA 6 is probably going to piss some people off. So
oh yeah. It already has, just that it exists. But no, I mean, to your point, even up until playing the game, I thought the whole goal of this game was to pick on people. Just because it's in the name. Like, I thought that's what it was. But, like, you're really not. You can. You
certainly
can. But it's not even like... I don't know. There's a couple missions. Like, the whole bit where you had to, like...
I mean, the Halloween mission, you're definitely pulling pranks on kids.
Yeah. There's stuff. And there's stuff that I think... kind of does exist in a more timeless manner, for sure. But yeah. Yeah, should we rank this thing? Anything we didn't talk about with Bully or hit on?
No, not to address your difficulties is nothing to compare to what you had. There was just one mission I struggled. And I think it was just one of those things where you have to have full health going into the mission. The mission where you save Algie from the greasers after he's caught kind of like flirting with Jody or whatever. You're on the back of that bike kind of on rails, throwing snowballs or slingshot. Some of the shit, like the greasers will come around the corner, lob a firecracker. There's like no way of stopping you getting hit. So I took that mission the first time at 2/3 health and died. Some of that stuff, I probably just missed a slingshot early and I got caught. But, like, when I was replaying, I was, like, watching like a hawk, knowing where, like, things were coming from this time. Dude, there's literally first frame on screen, in motion to lob. Like, there's just no chance. And And some of them miss, but I think it's just random if they hit or miss or whatever. So that was like one of the only frustrating missions I had because I failed it twice. But yeah, no, that was like the only dumb thing. Other than that, though, I think this is a good game.
How does it compare to the Grand Theft Autos of the era for you?
It's different. You know, I like the different pace to this as opposed to GTA. GTA can very much let me put in the cheat code. Let me see that's the star mission. I mean, you know, there's that's a sandbox. There's a reason why you can that game's so popular. You can kind of do whatever you want. But I like that it was more kind of get yourself involved in the school culture and get involved with the cliques and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that it. I don't know. Part of me is like, I don't know that it's better than any one of those three, but it's also so different that it is hard to compare. And I do like what this one does. Yeah.
I will say the first time I went to Vault, so when I put it on the list, I knew it was after San Andreas. When I booted the game for the first time, I couldn't remember if it was after or before San Andreas, so I was concerned vaulting wasn't in the game.
Oh,
Very happy to see vaulting was in the game.
Yeah. I was also very happy to see that you could get a haircut and fix his stupid, just shaved head.
Oh, I got that dumb preppy haircut and just left it on the entire game.
Yeah. That was a good option. Well, let's rank it. Listeners, you can rank along with us, thefreecheese.com/thelist, where we have gone through over 100 video games in the last 3 seasons of this podcast and added them all to a big, big list. I don't know where to go with this one. I'm trying to really remove the technical glitches and weird stuff from this. I will say, like, some of the stuff, it's just nature of it being an open world, but it was stuff that did get a little, like, the running around constantly, like, the traversal, those types of things, some of the weird, like, start-stop with missions and timing of those things, and the way that, like, I really wish you had weekends in the game so that you could have just had, like, hey, let me have 2 days back-to-back where I just dedicate to side missions and exploring the world, because I felt like I was so focused on, let me get to the next mission marker, let me get to the next thing, that I did miss out on some of the side stuff that if I had a free day like I would in real life, I would have done more of them.
Yeah, I mean, again, product of the time, I missed checkpoints and being able to hit, like, triangle to restart a mission instead of walking all the way back. Or
walking all the way back, or have all of your not only progress lost on a mission when you were 4 out of 5 sub-objectives complete, but also all of the time burned in the day and you can't restart the mission. Yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah,
that stuff's still frustrating. So I still rank this high, but I'm high, but, like, I'm looking at some of these games, I like them better.
Yeah.
I think my ceiling is right below Parasite Eve, but I'm willing to go below, like, Your Walk and Civ 6.
Oh, you're up there with it. Meanwhile,
Oh, you're down there. Oh, shit. All right.
I'm looking at, like, you're going to scream, but, like, is Daikatana better than this?
Oh, man.
Sorry. It's just where my eyes were,
man. Where's Daikatana even at? Oh, yeah, there it is.
70.
70, jeez.
For the listeners, if you're not tracking, Matt was hovering somewhere around 27, and I asked him to jump to 70.
All right. We'll find middle ground somewhere. All right.
It's the climb.
Well,
here we go.
Again,
this is another example of how stupid the list is, though.
Because I see Mass Effect 2 at 51. Metal Gear Solid 2 at 44.
Yeah, like, Mass Effect 2 is better than this. But so is Metal Gear. Is this better than Demi Kids?
I was about to say that. New 52 between Mass Effect 2 and Demi Kids.
Or is it New 53 between Demi Kids and X-Men 2? I like it over Demi Kids. I'll give you that.
I can't remember offhand, but I feel like there were some equally frustrating things in Demi Kids. And I just can't remember.
Yeah, it got really, really tough at certain spots in that game.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, again, I'm pro use a walkthrough if needed, but that game definitely needs a walkthrough.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, let's New 52.
All right, DC Comics. You're sure? You were super high on this one. I know I pulled you down.
Yeah, but if you pull me down, I look at my other landmarks. Like, Metal Gear Solid 2 is better than this game.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 is... my rating of that game probably doesn't reflect it compared to my rating for Bully, but I think at the end of the day, Mass Effect 2 is a more well-put-together game.
It's, yeah, and like, my thing is, I had some technical stuff, but there is also a lot about this game that it's like rough around the edges a little bit. It's a product of its time, which is such a cliche at this point. I know, I'm sorry. But I think it's a solid open world game that reimagines the GTA engine creatively.
Yeah.
And it's just worse than Mass Effect 2.
At whatever fucking number Mass Effect 2, I'm not looking at it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it can't. Mass Effect 2, you're in the list is like top 10 yearly.
Yeah. However, Mass Effect 2, not as good as WWF No Mercy. Not as good as Burnout 3.
Well, or, yeah, I mean, you're telling. Name me a game above it that is worse than, you know?
No, I know. Here's the best one. Mass Effect 2, not as good as Deadly Premonition.
That checks out.
It does.
I think that describes the state of this list and our feelings on how we rate some of these games more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. Man.
I forgot what this game is.
Taste is a thing.
Memes are a thing, too.
Yeah. Next week, we are going to wrap up our conversation on Super Mario Galaxy 2 as we almost wrap up our Wii Sports Killer conversation for the year. Kind of, sort of. We're getting there. Just a little bit more to go. So come back, hang out with us for that next week. Until then, thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye.